Brown the drive. Jaylen Brown kicks it out. Smart fakes. Inside. Tatum spins and he puts it in. Celtics go up by one.
All right, welcome back to the More Than Different podcast. We got a different kind of segment today. MTD is all about being authentic, being who you are, and much of who C-Mac and I are, dating back to childhood, is hoopers. So we got to provide some hoop chatter this time of the year. Got the NBA playoffs coming. So this is going to be a special NBA playoffs edition, breakdown, hot takes, etc. C-Mac, how you doing?
Pretty good. Hope everyone's having a great Patriots Day. You know,
Yes,
Sox are playing. Marathon Monday. The Celtics won yesterday.
They did. Yeah, this is
a nice day to get outside, get some great exercise, stay active.
Red Sox already did. Oh wow, Red Sox got smacked today
By the Twins.
Yeah, 8-3. Jeez. It's all right. If that's what you have to trade, that's what you got to trade for the Celtics win yesterday. We'll take it. But yeah, Marathon Monday.
Regardless, let's hope everybody's having an active, lovely Monday. Kicking off the week strong, embodying a more than different lifestyle, improving 1% every day. If there's a great day to start your lifestyle, it's on a Monday. Ooh.
It's on a Monday. The tough days. If you can overcome the Monday, it's only up from there. So I've actually had a pretty good Monday. I've kind of stayed in the attic most of the day. I've been bouncing around to books, my journals, preparing for this pod, trying to get ready for our big meeting tomorrow, actually, along the lines of basketball. We are aiming to confirm the first annual More Than Different tournament, basketball tournament, that is, later this summer, tomorrow. So unless it is the fumble of the century, we should be sealing the deal tomorrow. So I'm getting ready for that as well.
We don't fumble.
So you can lock that in. We'll have a date for everyone to put in their calendars quite soon, but been a good Monday. So let's jump right into it. What a game yesterday. Celtics, Nets, a lot of different storylines, none more than the Celtics winning at the buzzer. But I want to discuss Kyrie because, one, he's just as skilled a player as ever, but also one of the most misunderstood and, I guess at this point, controversial athletes that we've seen in quite some time. He's an anomaly. So what is your take on him? I'll give you my take, but I want to hear what you think of him, because people around this area are not big fans of Kyrie Irving.
No, they're not. For some valid reasons, though. I mean, the way he departed from Boston wasn't the smoothest departure. We've signed big free agents before. We've had big players. It wasn't the smoothest departure from the city.
No, it was abrupt.
So that was a main reason why there's a lot of hate and distaste for Kyrie Irving in Boston. But I still don't think years down the line. I mean, how many years has it been since we've had him? 4?
This is the 3rd season without him.
Wait, only 3? But still, I mean.
Oh, there was the whole bubble season that felt like forever. So
that's true. That's true.
But it's only been 3, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Boston fans to start are known to be ruthless. So if anyone leaves Boston, you're coming back unless you're Isaiah Thomas or Paul Pierce or KG. You're most likely getting booed, or Marcus Smart if he ever leaves.
Yeah,
but
no, Marcus Smart will never get. Oh yeah, he will
never get booed. No, if he gets traded or signed somewhere else, he'll get. Let's hope he gets. Side note: hope he gets depoy.
Yeah.
But my take on Kyrie Irving is that I think we're in a day and age in the league where all the fans expect all the players to just play basketball and shut up. I'm going to revert back to what LeBron said, or whoever the originator of it was, about the shut up and dribble. I think it was a Fox reporter.
Yeah,
bringing that up.
Laura Ingram, Fox reporter.
Yeah, talks about the shut up and dribble connotation. And I think without people saying it, I think that applies. And that's why everyone gets so mad when Kyrie's super outspoken and does not and strays away from the norm of what a lot of NBA athletes are doing. The vaccination was very controversial. People may not agree with his religion, what his beliefs are. I think just all of that combined and how outspoken he is about everything with civil rights and all of that combined, I think that all applies to just the hate people have for him, which is weird because I think it also stems from what we're trying to get at and what we're trying to show in our more than different lifestyles, appreciating people's differences and celebrating who they are and how authentic they are in their own way. And Kyrie's one of one. I mean, you have to appreciate his artwork on the court and how woke he is off the court. And some people just have a distaste for that, including the Boston Celtics fan base. I wouldn't say everybody, but certain fans in the fan base.
Yeah, quite a lot. Yeah, from a basketball standpoint, when I watch him play, he just makes me like basketball, love basketball so much more than I may have before, because the way he plays, it is like it's an art piece, and he is just crafting it, to create his masterpiece. And every performance, it seems like it is a performance. When he goes out and plays, it's like a show, as cliche as that is. And it's all just such creativity. And I think that for me is what keeps me loving basketball, along with, several other reasons, but more than anything, it's the creativity. Being someone who needs to rely on creativity as guards, he is the peak of skill, the acme of creativity and skill. So that's just from a basketball standpoint. So he is my favorite player to watch, hands down. And I will, hopefully we can find the photo, but since a youngin', back when the Uncle Drew days, I used to have the shirt, "Don't Reach Young Blood." So I've been a Kyrie fan since a jit. Let's just put that on record.
That's
but yeah,
definitely on record.
From the other standpoint is, yeah, I mean, I'm him throwing up the birdies to the Celtics fans, of course, is receiving a lot of,
I thought that was cold though. I thought that was ice cold.
I think it's fair. And frankly, it's exactly what the fans want. Like they're trying to, like, and I guess that is so for him to be criticized for doing that is unfair, because when they're heckling and they're saying all these things, they're deliberately trying to get his attention and get in his head. And so by him doing that, he's getting it, that the fans are doing exactly what they want. So for them to then play victim and say, "Oh my God, he's flipping us off. That's so wrong." Like, that is just so ignorant and frankly, just like unfair expectations to put on someone. I understand he gets paid millions, athletes, but to expect someone to, be in an arena with people chanting "fuck you, Kyrie," or, the terms he used in his press conference that are all not something that normal people would just call someone and expect no response. So for him to respond is totally fair. Of course, he has to live with the consequence of a little fine, which shouldn't leave too much of a dent. But
what are the chances you think his teammates cover that fine?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's pocket change for him. He's good.
Yeah,
for
that's
it.
true. That's true.
So like $25,000, $50,000 isn't going to do too much.
I thought that corner three he had, where he jabbed, it might have been on Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, it
was. Rose up, buried it, and turned to the fan and flipped him off. That could have been one of the coldest sequences I've seen. If they won that game,
I know. Well,
that would go down in playoff history just as just a cold moment from a cold player. I think. I mean, that's something I wish I could do.
I know. To be in a situation where you're the villain in a whole arena, and you're just making plays and hitting shots that are taking the breath out of the whole arena, and you're in a situation where you can do something like that.
That's power money can't buy right there.
Yeah, no, that was chills. So I'm a huge Kyrie fan. I obviously don't advocate for him like not getting the vaccine, but for him to not get it and to live with the consequences of it and pay the cost of sitting out and waiting and not even being able to play for half the season, eventually being able to play just away games and doing that willingly and staying true to who he is. Like I can respect that. And same with he's Ramadan, he's fasting right now. He's very spiritual and obviously philanthropic with his off-court actions, and also just, outspoken. And so people misunderstand that because he's very disconnected from what we have come to understand an athlete to be, a professional athlete.
People take that for arrogance and cockiness when he's just being outspoken in what he believes in, which in turn is arrogance on the spectators. Rather than him, to think that he's being arrogant, cocky because they've seen all these players come through the ranks in the NBA and listen to tons of press conferences from players in the last 10 years on their favorite team, and they haven't seen anything like Kyrie. He's a specimen like no other. The guy's mastering the form of basketball and the way it's played. And
while also having a lot of things he does off the court, and people seem to see athletes as single dimensional, as we do with all celebrities kind of type thing. So
one thing I want to bring up is that I know he isn't vaccinated, but he was never in the news about complaining about the ruling that the NBA has, or I guess I should say that New York City had about mandating a vaccine. I think it might have been for private companies or playing in big arenas, something of that sort. But I always heard complaints from, again, spectators, fans of the game.
Reporters.
People with reporters, people with the blue checks on Instagram bringing that up. But I never heard it from Kyrie himself. Granted, maybe he was behind the scenes, but the fact that I didn't hear that and heard a lot of other chatter was, it's just nice. The less whining you hear from one person, I think the more likable, even though he's not likable to a lot of people, he is, which he gets my vote.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I agree. I'm not advocating not getting the vaccine. I think he should have. But, he paid the cost and wasn't out there saying this is, playing victim. He served his time and it worked out for him. But I also, along the line, not complain. He doesn't even complain to the refs very rarely, which I also love.
Pet peeve for my watching NBA. It's
very likable in that regard. So I'm a huge Kyrie fan. I'm interested to see how this series develops, both on the court and off the court. But I think it's just going to galvanize the fans at the Garden even more to be even more outspoken. I don't think what he said is going to shut them up or,
it's going to make them louder.
It's going to make them louder, which I think puts him in a position to, shut them up with his play. But the Celtics are legit. So
it's a legacy building series for him. It makes a dent if you lose with Kevin Durant in the first round.
It does. I know. KD's got to be better. Kyrie,
he does.
Kyrie was damn near perfect. KD was, but you got to give credit to Celtics defense more so than KD.
Celtics are unbelievable. Celtics are a great ball club.
Celtics are tough. All right, let's transition.
One thing before we pivot, I just want to bring up. I think Kyrie's a big topic right now in the playoffs, and the Celtics and Nets probably the most interesting series in the first round. And we were talking about Kyrie and Kevin Durant trying to cement their legacy and hold on to their legacy as they're trying to get out of the first round. I was just talking with my friends because all following the last game, all my friends are posting. They're all peers, people I've been in high school with, people that I know of, see on social media. Kyrie sucks. I hate Kyrie. Kyrie this, Kyrie that, all negative connotation. And look, so then I was at the gym today and I was talking with my friend about Kyrie Irving in person. That's why I heard all this slander and trash talk about him. And he was telling me how Kyrie is a good player. He's a great ball player, but he's never he can't act like this because he's never going to be on the level of being able to win a championship by himself. And that argument, I thought it wasn't a great argument because I really haven't. Basketball's a team sport. You have 5 guys on the court, a 15-man roster. People rarely play 48 minutes the whole game, right? And I've never seen anyone score every point in the game for one team. You tell me. Show me the numbers. Show me the stats.
Yeah, no, that's
that happen before. I've never seen someone get every point and every rebound. And obviously, if you score every point, you can't get every assist, right?
Yeah.
So, in that regard, obviously, it's a team sport, so you can't just win something on your own. But at the same time, if people want to think of it that way, that you can win something on your own in a sport that's team oriented, I think over the years, the last 20 plus years, how many teams can you name that has won a championship with one guy? One guy has solely carried their team to a championship. I mean, first thing, the only team that comes to mind is a Dirk, and he had a great team.
Well, not Dirk. I think win a title to get to the finals.
Win a title.
Right, yeah, probably Dirk.
Get to a finals, Allen Iverson,
yeah.
But look, Allen Iverson had the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
Dikembe Mutombo.
LeBron's first Cavs team.
LeBron's first Cavs team. Look, he didn't win the title though. Those teams didn't win the title.
Right.
You can't win a title.
Yeah, that's just
nearly impossible.
Especially where the league is now. It's the blueprint of how to win a title has clearly been you need 2, maybe 3 stars, probably 2 top 10, top 15 players on your roster. Like that is where it's at. So to say Kyrie can't, like, the hell, Kyrie's this. I'll be on record saying he's the second best point guard in the league, but on I'd be willing to take him over Steph too, but it's hard to put him over Steph Curry.
Hard argument there, but I will say, look, even the arguably top 3 players to ever play this game, you have your Kobe, you have your LeBron, you have your MJ. MJ won 6 in a row. Or 6 titles. No, 6 titles. 6 titles. I think it might have been 3 and 3, or
3 and 3.
I think it was 3 and 3 after he took his little sabbatical and tried out baseball. He had Scottie Pippen, first ballot Hall of Famer, on his team, sidekick, Batman and Robin. It was pretty much Batman and Batman.
Yeah.
LeBron, D Wade, Chris Bosh, 2 Hall of Famers. Kyrie Irving, another first ballot Hall of Famer. He had help too. Arguably the greatest of all time, based on how he can sustain greatness for 18 years now. Unbelievable. And then Kobe and Shaq. Shaq's arguably the most dominant big man ever. Couldn't win without D Wade or Kobe. And then you have Pau Gasol, who's arguably going to be a Hall of Famer too. They had a great team in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Derek Fisher, Lamar Odom, Pau Gasol, Andrew Bynum before he turned into a scrub. So you just can't win a title on your own. So I'm going on a rant here, but I'm more Celts than Kyrie, but I don't like to hear the Kyrie slander.
Yeah, not a Kyrie slander.
A bucket's a bucket. You got to respect the bucket.
Bucket's a bucket, and he's himself. He's the real him. Gotta respect it. Actually, to go off that, we talked about the Kyrie heckling situation. What is the best heckle you've heard on court? Most creative, clever, maybe it left you smirking. I have a pretty good story from this past season, but you go.
I've heard some chirps on my coach in high school about how he's balding, how he needs Bosley. I've heard that. That was in the state semifinals. In high school, I was at the free throw line. Crosstown rival. I remember they were screaming. They screamed this. So I had a girlfriend at the time. And then I ended up posting, and it was after the new year. I'll give you a little backstory. I ended up posting a picture with my girlfriend at the time, my ex-girlfriend now, and the caption was, wouldn't want to spend New Year's Eve with anyone else. That was the caption, and I had a picture with myself in there. It's not on Instagram anymore, so don't try and hunt that thing down, but that is a true statement. So then I get to the game, I'm shooting free throws, I'm at the line, and all of a sudden I hear the whole fan section scream, I wouldn't want to be with anyone else on New Year's Eve. Bang. All of a sudden I'm running down the court, they're screaming my ex-girlfriend's name. I bricked that free throw. It didn't make me chuckle, it got me shook. I think we ended up winning that game, but that was just, I just had no idea that anyone knew that,
Yeah, people are creative. Those are the best ones. This past year we played Belmont Hill, school I almost went to. Glad I didn't, but a couple of my homies there, but no, it's fine. Made the right decision. Where it was like, this is the first year, of course, all the fans were fully back. So it was like the first Friday night game. It was packed. They brought out everyone, all the boys, because it is an all boys school. And it's like mid-game, first half, and I'm taking it out like right in front of their fan section. And, they're kind of chirping. They're just, they might just be making sound, cacophonies, if you will. But then all of a sudden they start yelling at me. They go, less than different. It's
not even creative.
It's not even that creative, but I was like, oh, that's funny. Did their research. Not all that creative. On the counter of that, the best, most chilling chant I ever got was my sophomore year, my first year at Noble, was a big Friday night game. And it was toward the end of the game. We kind of had a comfortable lead, but it was like a shot clock, game clock differential, and they weren't fouling. I had the ball like in ISO, and got to the 10-1. And so now I'm at the line, like game sealed, dagger, and the whole fan section just chants more than different. And I was cold. It was so cold. It was actually the coldest moment. But
I was a heckler myself though, at football games. I mean, this year wasn't really sort of a heckle, which it kind of was. Myself and a couple of my other friends showed up to the WPI football game, dressed identically like the opposing coaching staff.
We need a photo. Do you have a photo?
Yeah, I gotta find that. We might have to pin that as the head image of this podcast.
Get a clip and put.
I had the broken PlayStation headset, had the newspaper in the pants, tucked in with the collared shirt. My cargo shorts were up to my belly button with the belt. I had the high mid calves. I was locked in. I was fired up. Oh, we ended up getting kicked out of that game, but that's besides the point. I think we blew them out. No. Yeah. Safe to say that coach never wore the same outfit again.
Yeah. He reconsidered his whole wardrobe. All right, let's do the hard pivot. Staying on top of the NBA here. We'll rip off a couple hot takes and some questions, and we'll wrap it up. But we'll go. I saw game 1, and I'm convinced T-Wolves are going to beat the Grizzlies. I'm not a huge believer in Memphis. I wasn't throughout the whole season. Ja Morant's a stud. They got some youngins who who get up to play every game because that's what's crucial in the regular season. The league is
Young and healthy.
young and healthy, so you get up for every game. They're spry, and so they had a great record. But I think that I had a feeling they get a little exploited. Now it's only been one game here, so we won't overreact. But the Timberwolves, it's all matchups in the playoffs, and I think the Timberwolves are a tough matchup for the Grizzlies because they got a bunch of guys who can score, in isolation situations, and they defend pretty well. And I don't know about Memphis's offense. If you're not getting it from Morant, who isn't a great shooter either, so now you're packing the lanes, forcing him to try to finish over bigs and just, making them earn it at the line. Who else is scoring? Dylan Brooks is solid. Desmond Bain can hit a bunch of shots, but like no one else is really an isolation scorer on that team. So
Jaren Jackson needs to score for that team.
Right, but he's out on the wing firing 3 balls. He's not a great shooter, great defender, can finish, etc. But I don't know. I don't know. Anthony Edwards could be the best player in this series. Played like it on Saturday, I'll tell you that much. So my hot take is that the T-Wolves are going to win this series.
I think it's starting not to look like a hot take, though.
Yeah,
T-Wolves are looking. If Cat plays the way he played last game, with that ferocious dump, I mean, that was disrespectful.
That had
he had to bone to. I mean, he had Jaren Jackson shoving the other guy.
Yeah, the first guy he saw.
He just shoved him.
Oh, that was good.
You gotta dunk on somebody so bad that they just shoved the next person. If that guy next to him was his teammate, he would have shoved him across the court.
Yeah. No, I'd be sick too. That was.
I think. I mean, think about it. They just beat the Grizzlies 2 seed at home in Memphis, and I think they were a pretty solid home team.
Oh yeah, dominant
with D'Angelo Russell scoring under 20. It might have been under 15.
Well, yeah, he was playing 2 for 13, 2 for something. He had concert date numbers.
Concert date numbers. You hate to see that.
Concert date shooting splits.
But I think Anthony Davis, or pardon me. I'm not a big Anthony Davis fan, but Anthony Edwards, he's a problem.
Yeah, bona fide.
A bona fide problem.
Recently, actually, Pat Bev was on JJ Redick's podcast and said, Pat Bev embellishes quite a lot, but he was talking about Anthony Edwards, and he says, "Man, you can be the next MJ." So that might be crazy, but damn, he damn near played like a young MJ, trying to make his mark. So if he can keep that up the whole series, I just don't think Memphis has enough firepower, but we'll see. So
I'm proclaiming his nickname, The Problem.
All right, proclaim it. Maybe that'll stick.
Anthony Edwards, The Problem. I don't know how anyone has never been nicknamed The Problem. You have the answer.
Oh yeah, you got the answer.
Why don't you have the problem?
I think that's that the problem seems to be more new lingo. He's a problem. Same thing people say, he's tough. Like, that's all new. Not new, but it's relatively a new term. So that terminology, that is funny that literally the paradoxical of the problem is already like a name that is very well known, but no one has the name of the problem. So that's funny. Someone should. How about we call Ant the problem? I like that. See,
if he wins this series, and I'm thinking, who's in there? Who's in the little 14 bracket?
Oh no, they play Golden State, and I'm on record saying Golden State comes out of the West.
They'll give him a go though. I think they're tougher than Denver.
Oh yeah, much deeper. You need
younger, spry. I don't know what their defense is like, but
they got an engine on defense in Pat Bev, so like they're gonna dig in, whether they do it every game or not. But you got someone who creates a standard.
He's used to guarding Steph too, Pat Bev.
Yeah, Warriors are tough. Phoenix is tough. I think that's I'm locking that in as the Western Conference Finals, and at that point, I'll just become a fan. Although I will be rooting for Warriors. As good as Chris Paul is, he is like very unlikable when you watch him play. He's really he's nasty. So the way he plays isn't. You can only appreciate it and be in awe, but he does all that little shit that is just so annoying.
He flops and draws fouls 90 feet from his hoop.
Yeah,
that always gets me. That always makes my blood boil.
Which is also, it's manipulating the defense, and it's smart.
He's smart.
It's annoying. So it's brutal to watch. I don't know. He does all that extra shit that is just you kind of have to do, I guess, to be really, really damn good at his age and at his size. But
I mean, we're on paper hating greatness, but for different reasons.
No, we're not hating. We're not hating the ability. All right, not at all.
We're not. We're hating the whine to the refs. The swing through, draw the foul, floppy thing. What I never realized, which has always been a fact, is how great of a defender he is.
Yeah, he's good.
He's been a first team all defense guy consistently in his career.
Yeah, he's got
that goes that no one really talks about that.
Yeah, well, he's got good hands and he's got all the techniques.
Technique. If your technique's there, it gets you in the right spot, then that's when you start getting your hands on balls.
Yeah.
That's when you start playing great D. Use your length.
You gotta use your length. You gotta let your length,
in order to have great D, you have to have great length.
That is true. I mean, you just gotta let your length do the work. Well,
all right, let's pivot. Let's pivot a little bit.
All right, I got one more little hot topic here. Surprisingly enough, although not surprisingly, because there's so many storylines in the East, is the Miami Heat are the 1 seed and just blew out the Hawks. That series is all but over. But no one's talking about them, despite being really damn deep and being the 1 seed, yet not having anyone healthy for they didn't have a full team healthy for a good portion of the season. Guys were always out. So to still be the 1 seed, no one's really talking about them. I think much of that has to do with the fact that they have a superstar, I suppose, in Jimmy Butler. If you want to call him a superstar, I guess you can. But he's not as flashy and as palpably dominant as someone like a Giannis or a Kevin Durant or a, LeBron James or whomever, So I think he obviously makes that ship go along with a lot of other pieces, but I wonder what your take is on them. Do you see them coming out of the East? Is there a chance?
I feel like any team Jimmy Butler's on, they don't get much publicity unless Jimmy Butler's starting to fight somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he puts his head down and he grinds. And sometimes when he grinds, he just talks too much shit where players on the team think he's a cancer. And frankly, based on a bunch of testimonials that I've heard from his former teammates, he's not a cancer. He's just an unbelievable competitor. And a couple guys are just a little too soft. Yeah. Can't take a little criticism.
Right.
How do they respond to people speaking down on them and calling them out? That will be discussed further in the next episode. But the Heat are a real contender to make the NBA Finals. They lock up. I mean, lock up. Kyle Lowry, underrated defender.
No, not
Jimmy
even.
Butler. Jimmy Butler, that guy
takes pride.
I mean, it's the playoffs. So every team can play defense because every team gives more effort. And
But it's all matchups, and
all
he can
matchups. I
guard.
mean,
He
the
can guard.
Heat can get mismatches because they have an anchor in Bam Adebayo. That guy is the definition of versatility.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already on a max contract, right?
Yeah.
He is
He got
because
like
he deserves it. I mean, there's not a lot of guys out there that can guard 1 through 5 easily and can guard a Giannis and then can guard it, can contain a Giannis, can contain a great winger.
Trae Young right now. I mean, they just absolutely shut out Trae Young in game 1.
Yeah, look, like Trae Young, I think he has some flaws into his game. I mean, he's an elite shooter, but when he can hit his shots, he makes no impact on the game.
Oh, he's a really good passer.
But I think he can't play off the ball.
No, yeah, he doesn't. That's the difference. You know, you hear the Steph Curry, Trae Young comparisons, which are egregious, but also, you know, you see where it comes from. They shoot from long range, dynamic point guard, etc.
I've never seen him come off a screen though.
Yeah, right. Curry comes off pin downs, flares, and fires like Trae Young. The way he shoots is just like different, and it's like almost as if it's like not as built for that. I don't know. It's also their offense. Their offense is all just ball screen Trae Young and trust that he'll either make the right, you know, shot or pass. So
He was an Eastern Conference finalist?
I know that was nuts. I was slept on that they really made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And
Not happening this year.
No, it's gonna be he better start booking his ticket to Cancun. Nah.
Yeah, I better start booking his ticket to Candyland.
Yeah.
That's where they're going.
Yeah, they're well on their way. I gotta give a shout out to Arlington's very own Pat Connaughton. I'm actually rocking his hat from years ago, his foundation, which I think now is just the Pat Connaughton Foundation, but it says PC on here, PC. So we're gonna get him on the pod. Hopefully, it's post title run, you know, because he'll have
back to back.
He'll have even more of a following, but we are going to get him on. That's our guy. I know Pat well. It's actually funny. I saw Pat. I was with Pat over February break. He was back home because it was the All-Star break, and he actually fractured or broke his, what would it be, 4th metacarpal. So I fractured my 2nd. And he did this one. And so he had to get surgery. I had to get surgery as well. So I saw him. We went to a game. I met with like him and my old AU coach and a couple other people, big MIA game over the break. And we were chatting and I see him and I'm like, oh man, I had the same injury. He didn't know. So I was trying to give him advice on how to get through it. I think it worked. But anyway, we'll get Patty on the pod. So the Bucks are, I could see a Bucks Suns rematch. What do you think?
I'm here for it. Last year's NBA Finals was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was sick.
But look, winner of this Celtics Nets series. I mean, in our little 4-team bracket, winner of that's coming out of the East.
Yeah, I would agree.
Winner of that, who makes the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't care who they play against. I think they're making out of these. Yet the other 4 are in a little easier bracket of their own.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Philly's a threat, but they always choke. Always choke.
Yeah. I'm not a big believer. And then Miami, after seeing game 1.
Miami's probably the biggest threat out of those guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think they come out of that 4. I think it's them and I don't know. Milwaukee's going to be tough to beat because they know what they got to do.
Giannis is just a menace.
Giannis is a force.
He has a motor like no other, and I love it.
Yeah.
He's a hard guy to dislike. I mean,
yeah, you nearly can't
he's a
dislike.
great. Yeah, I mean, his brand's unbelievable. He just builds his own brand every time he steps on the podium when he tries to talk. Never mind get on the court. He's got a great sense of humor. You see him he had a book of dad jokes on his last
Yeah.
podium. I think it was this one too. Bang. Look at that. Dad jokes. Yeah. You think I don't have this? I have this.
They're
You think
bringing out the Giannis C-Mac comparisons.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? If I'm not him, then who is?
Who is?
Come on. So,
but yeah, that the Bucks are going to be tough to beat again. But it is a shame because, as we've expressed, I mean, the Nets are just so fun to watch, and seeing those two play that you don't want to see them lose. You also want the Celtics to win. So it's kind of I mean, I'm rooting for the Celtics, but it's a bummer that is a first round series because those two teams are just, it's not a 2-7 matchup. It's like an Eastern Conference Finals kind of matchup in the first round. So it's going to be a war in the East. We'll go last question that I'm interested in what you have to say, but what player do you think will transform their legacy in this postseason? Whether that means winning a title or just stamping themselves as a bona fide superstar and face of the league.
well, look, it could happen in a couple of scenarios. It could be, a third-year guy in the league, 4-year guy in the league, 24, 25-year-old who leads his team to the Eastern Conference Finals or leads his team to the NBA Finals. It could be think of if John Morant leads his team to the NBA Finals, he's solidified as a superstar in this league.
Yeah, he's
Think about
all of a sudden he's in like all-time conversations already.
Yeah, that's early, but
yeah, but if you win a title,
that run. I mean, if you throw a ring on him, that you're already
changes the narrative.
It already changes the narrative. I think the Celtics getting out of this first round, say they beat the Nets, then they beat the Bucks with Jason Tatum having a phenomenal, fantastic postseason. He could just immediately jump a couple guys into best player of the league conversation, best player in the world conversation. Obviously, he's probably not the best player in the world now, but he can be in that top 5 conversation if he leads his team to an NBA Finals appearance and an NBA title. But I think one guy whose legacy will be solidified is pending a finals appearance and a finals championship is Jimmy Butler. Because Jimmy Butler did in the bubble. You saw his 41-point triple-double against the Lake Show. You saw him carry his squad, will them to the NBA Finals. But people try to discredit it because it was the bubble. It was the bubble. It was the COVID season.
Yeah.
The
no fans.
The no fans. We all have to play in the same location.
That's a great point. So is that
Jimmy just decided, you know what? I'm not just gonna carry us to the NBA Finals, but I'm gonna launch my own coffee brand.
Right.
In the bubble.
And he's going public soon, I think. Unbelievable.
But I'm telling you right now, if the Miami Heat win an NBA championship right now, he's gonna be Finals MVP. And he's gonna be, I mean, think about it. No one talks about him. Jason Tatum gets more publicity than him.
I'm telling you, he's not as flashy.
Who else? I mean, Anthony Davis gets way more attention than he does. He's in LA, but he played 23 games this year. He's a joke. He's a laughing stock. He's a laughing stock of potential that's just soft. He's just he's like Charmin. I mean, he's terrible.
Oh boy.
He probably goes to Starbucks every day. If they have Starbucks in LA, I don't know. But I don't know. It could be him. It could be My money's on him, but also my money could be on Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Upset,
Upset
but it also
would hurt John Morant.
But look, one other last thing. I mean, I keep throwing a bunch of names out, throwing literally everybody in the playoffs out right now.
Yeah, I got one take for you after.
One guy, this might be yours. If he gets a ring, Steph Curry.
That was mine. It's all good though.
You talk about it.
I think if Steph Curry, if the Warriors, I'll just say Steph Curry because you said Steph Curry. So if the Warriors get a ring, and for them to get a ring, Steph Curry's obviously going to be great. He becomes the greatest point guard ever. No debate.
I think that's less of the debate, though.
No, the people still, they still say Magic, and it's still the narrative of, he won one, and Kyrie got hurt that 2015 finals year. They probably wouldn't have won it. And then KD came. KD, bailed them out, helped them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Curry's had some struggles, actually. I mean, his relative to some of his regular season numbers has had some struggles in the playoffs. Still been unreal, but that is the knock. And so if he could win it with KD dispersed from Golden State, and it's still their core, along with guys who they drafted, and Andrew Wiggins as well. If they can come out of this season and win a title, it solidifies him as the greatest point guard ever. I think it solidifies him, Klay.
I don't think it's just. I don't think you put him in the point guard. I think you just put him in the player conversation.
Oh, I think he becomes a top.
He's in one of the greatest players. He already is, but
it becomes
less of an argument against him.
Right. No, I think this solidifies it, because the other titles are all.
Does he have 3 right now?
He has 3. He has 2 league MVPs. He's got a bunch of scoring titles.
He just needs a Finals MVP.
He needs a Finals MVP. He doesn't have the Finals MVP, and now it's back to, if you want to make the argument that it was KD's team, it's his team right now. And it's the same guy.
I think it's always been his team, but
it's been his team. But KD then took the driver's seat in those finals and those games. There's no denying it, as he kind of should. But those 3 have been together since the jump. And if they can win it this year, which frankly, if it's not the Celtics, I'm rooting for the Warriors. That'd be legendary. So that's my take. I'm going with them out of the West, and whatever happens in the finals, we'll see. I don't know who's coming out of the East. I'm not gonna say.
It's too early. I mean, we did do a mini podcast that we didn't put out, just talking about our round 1 predictions, but it's tough to have a finals prediction and not go back on your word.
Let it develop. 7-game series is a whole different dynamic, because, even that Celtics Nets game was a war, and you're like, wow, there might be 6 more of these. Now they get the rest, so that it makes it doable, because they're not.
Now look, everyone's talking about now. Oh, Celtics in 5, Celtics in 6, Celtics in 7, all because they won that game 1. Nets win game 2. It's a whole different dynamic, whole different story. They go home tied 1-1. They did their job.
Yeah.
So,
but
it
got
to win game 2.
It had the Nets got game 1. Oh my! All the pressure's on the Celtics though. So
100%
was huge, because now they still have the home court.
If you squeeze a game 2 win in, it's all the pressure's on Brooklyn. You can't go down 3-0.
Well, yeah, we know that. But then even the all the pressure's on Brooklyn for game 2 or game 3 and 4. Because right now, Boston still has the home court. If Brooklyn takes game 1, home court advantage is gone. I mean, you still have game 7, of course, at home, but Brooklyn then is in a position where if they win their home games, they win the series. So, that series is gonna be nuts. So no predictions. I am rooting for the Warriors out of the West, and I think they will do it. And I want Steph Curry to get his flowers. He's already got them. There's no doubt about that. But this would leave nothing up for contention.
One thing that there's always going to be people doubting, though. They could say, "Oh, he went up against the Miami Heat. Oh, how good are they? They went up against Jimmy Butler. How good's Jimmy Butler?" Or, I mean, if he goes up against the Nets and beats them, that'd be unbelievable. If he goes up against Giannis and the Bucks, defending champs, that'd be unbelievable. Celtics, everyone will be like, Celtics, they're young.
Yeah, right.
They have a new coach.
Jackal.
It was their second half of the season was a fluke, So there's so many different narratives that people can just try and tarnish Steph's this year's legacy that he's trying to build. There's always going to be haters like that, but it doesn't matter what they say.
I guess the other reality is that this is the window, though. It's probably this year, maybe next year, maybe the year after, maybe. But he's on.
This is it right here, though. I mean,
this is kind of it. Like, how many more prime years of Curry are you really gonna?
But his team's great right now,
No, yeah, they got the balance of vets and some youngins who can play, and
everybody's healthy.
Experience. Yeah, they're going to be a tough out. NBA playoffs. What a time. So we'll see. That's my hope, though. I'm rooting for Warriors out of the West, and I don't any Kyrie slander. I'm gonna come right back at you.
Yeah, hey, I'm telling you, this has got to be more exciting than last year's NBA playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
more so than the last couple of years. I think every team has weapons. Every team has either a vet who's a bucket, young, exciting squad. The first round games are, thrilling. First round, just storylines are fantastic. Even the Bucks against the Bulls. DeMar buckets, as I call him. DeMar buckets, as I call him. The buckets. DeMar DeRozan. He's having a career year, along with his buddy Zach LaVine, who's in actually, can you believe it or not, his first playoff appearance of his career.
Yeah.
So he has to have some.
I know. I will say it's not the same without
the king.
La buckets, la dad, la sweatshop, la LA, la G,
the playoffs,
the record book, the NBA Finals MVP,
the stamina, the 18 years,
the longevity. So we'll see. It isn't the same.
The hairline,
but hey, he's
a passer.
He's being a la dad right now. He's got the time off to live vacation, so
he can watch TV now. He can watch the playoffs.
Yeah, he can enjoy. So Flick, cue off that the NBA Finals outro for us, and we will be back with our regular scheduled program this week. But we thought we had to give some hoop insight, because why would we not? Two
hoopers giving elite hoop insight. And look, we're Celtics fans. We're from the greater Boston area. So maybe we're a little leaning towards the Celtics and everything we say. But look, we're hoopers. We know how to play the game. We know how to manipulate the game. So we're not just your average casual trying to call the shots from, my couch out in Medford, So
yeah,
this is the real deal.
Instead, it's my attic out in Arlington.
I'm in the attic in Worcester.
Yeah. So we'll be back with the Lifestyle Pod this week. Let us know your hot takes in the comments if you made it this far. Hope you did. But hey, go Celts, and we'll touch back and see how our our predictions unfolded. But
So next couple of days we'll get back to regular scheduled program. Not focused on basketball, but it can be sports related, whatnot, but mostly focusing on lifestyle for everybody's standpoint, from athletes to non-athletes to your nerds, your
not nerds.
this,
That's
your that. Well, I mean, I'm a
for
nerd.
everyone. Simple.
Well, I mean, this is a podcast with two nerds, so
That's right. That's what I like. Yes.
thank
But
you.
had to shed some hoop chatter, some hoop insight. So we'll be back. Flick, cue that up for us.